Welcome to Surrender School.
Right, at Surrender School, we recover. Our mission is to share 12-step and other supportive recovery solutions with those who want a healthy relationship with food. We are not an official 12-step meeting, but we do try to adhere to the spirit of the traditions. If Surrender School has been helpful for your recovery, please consider donating. There's a yellow donate button at the bottom of the landing page for our website, and you can do that there. We are tax deductible in the United States. Okay, let's take a moment to feel our breath going in and out. Maybe take a couple of deep breaths. Feel your feet on the floor. Get grounded and calm. Let everything else drop and spend some time together. Higher power, help us to set aside everything we think we know, to leave space for what we have yet to learn. Okay, so tonight's topic is self-acceptance and abstinence. Now, self-acceptance in general is the ability to appreciate ourselves, flaws and all, and to believe that we are worthy of love and acceptance. And this involves recognizing both our strengths
shortcuts
and our weaknesses.
Understand to navigate and press.
I'm sorry, it's me. I apologize.
And so you need to understand your strengths and weaknesses, your abilities, your limitations, so you can embrace both the good and the not so good aspects of yourself. And self-acceptance is the goal, not perfection. Accepting ourselves as we are instead of withholding acceptance until we can be perfect, because of course we're never going to get there. So self-acceptance is the goal, not perfection. And we have to start from where we are and go from there. They say that in program all the time. We learn and we grow in program, and we practice program principles in every area of our lives. The big book says progress, not perfection. I'm sure perfectionism is not a new character trait in human beings. 100 years ago, they were just as bad as we are now about this whole perfectionism thing. I'm going to say it again, one more time. Perfection is not the goal. Why make an impossibility the goal? Because it guarantees failure and rejection of self, let's be honest. And for me, it guarantees being active in my addiction, because I got to get away from those kinds of feelings. So let's start with our strengths. Self-acceptance requires you to acknowledge your strengths. Do you know off the top of your head what your strengths even are? Could you list me your top 5 strengths? Just, like that? Probably not. We spend so much time focusing on our limitations and what's wrong with us in our quest for perfection that we don't even recognize our own strengths. It's like we all have this really well-rehearsed, particularly if you've been in program for a while and you've done several 4 steps and you've gotten a list of your character defects. We have a very well-rehearsed list of our shortcomings. But our strengths, I'm a good girl from the Midwest. I mean, isn't that pride? Isn't that boasting? Isn't that, ostentatious? You don't want to do that. Don't want to draw attention to yourself. But actually, knowing your strengths is really important for your abstinence and for your recovery. Because we need to put them to good use for ourselves and for others through service, but ourselves first. in order to get and stay abstinent, in order to work the program, we use our strengths productively. So if you don't know what your strengths are, go to a website. It is personality-quizzes.com. That's personality-quizzes, plural.com. And you take the character strengths test. So when you go to personality-quizzes.com, you choose the VIA character strengths and values test. VIA is all caps, character strengths and values test. It's free, and it'll give you your top 5 character strengths. Now, this assessment tool, this isn't some namby-pamby thing. This is an actual researched, put together test. And it was developed by psychologists Martin Seligman and Christopher Peterson. And Seligman is a big mucky-muck in the positive psychology area. So they designed this quiz specifically for use in personal growth work. So here are my strengths according to this quiz. And then I'm going to tell you how I use them for myself. Okay, my top 5. What didn't David Letterman do, like the top 10 or something like that years and years ago? I feel like I'm doing that now, showing my. Okay. Here's my top 5 character strengths. 1, love of learning. 2, caution, prudence, and discretion. 3, gratitude. 4, judgment, critical thinking, and open-mindedness. And 5, curiosity and interest in the world. I use these traits not only in working my program and in service to others, but I also use them to help me stay abstinent. We focus so much on our weaknesses around the issue of abstinence. How well has that worked for us? Not very. Why not try something new? Do the experiment. Focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses, in order to get abstinent. Leverage your strengths in order to get abstinent. So this was instrumental for me. I took my strengths of love of learning, critical thinking, and curiosity, and I researched the science behind the physical allergy and the mental obsession. I used those strengths to my benefit. Then I put together the Step 1 science workshop out of it, and using those strengths helped me so much. I put together the workshop. Hopefully that's helpful to another person somewhere out there. And there is a joy in using your strengths. Okay, it makes you feel good. And so if you can use those strengths now, and I think I'm trying to remember how many, if it's like 48 different strengths that they look at. I think that's right. So there are a lot of different kinds of strengths, and you get creative and you use them to support yourself, because what this does is it makes you feel better, and it makes you feel better about yourself. And that's an important thing to cultivate for abstinence and long-term abstinence and recovery. Self-acceptance also requires self-compassion, because we have both strengths and weaknesses. We have to find compassion for our weaknesses, and we have to stop, obviously, beating ourselves up for having them, for making mistakes. Embrace the fact, and I try not to use always and never, but I'm going to right now. Embrace the fact that we will always make mistakes, and we will never be perfect. We will always make mistakes, and we will never be perfect. And it doesn't matter how long you've been abstinent, or how long you've been in recovery, or how spiritual a person you are. You will always make mistakes and you will never be perfect. So congratulations, you've already arrived. You've already arrived. Okay. What we have to do in this is we have to let go of these ridiculously unrealistic expectations of ourselves. It's a little embarrassing to admit, but I really did think that it was kind of this program to get me to a place of perfection, and then my life would be perfect too. I would be perfect, my life would be perfect, my body would be perfect, my weight would be perfect. And it's never worked that way for me. And I don't know if it's ever worked that way for anybody. I mean, I will tell you, being in recovery, it's a lot better than not being in recovery. It feels much better. My moods are much better. My thinking is better. My relationships are better. My spirituality is better when I'm abstinent and in recovery. Yes, all of that is true, but nothing is perfect. And nothing particularly outside of me changes, just inside of me changes. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Being perfect will not fix you. It will not fix your life. It will not fix your past and what has happened to you. It will not guarantee and assure your future. Perfection as a goal is useless because it is fantasy. So we practice self-compassion by being kind to ourselves. We forgive ourselves for our mistakes, learning from them instead of beating ourselves up about them. We watch ourselves without judgment, being our own kind observer, like in the Supercharged program, being our own kind observer so that we can learn and grow. If we're going to make mistakes anyway, we might as well learn from them and then not make the same mistake twice, as opposed to making a mistake, falling apart in a puddle of self-recrimination, and then not getting anything from it. If you make it, you might as well get something from it. We also change our self-talk. I don't know about you, but I have treated myself horribly through self-talk. I have tortured myself unmercifully. I have been crueler to myself than anyone else has ever dreamed of being to me. I am the cruelest voice that has ever been in my life. Toltec philosophy calls this negative self-talk the parasite. I like that name because that's what it feels like. Um, other philosophies, you can call it the inner critic, you can call it the critical parent. There's a lot of different names for it, but I like parasite because it feels as bad as the word parasite sounds to me. Now, the parasite feeds off of us feeling bad, just like our disease kind of feeds off of us feeling bad. It berates us constantly, making us feel awful about ourselves, which of course, for me, leads to more overeating and binging. So, in order to change my self-talk, I had to become aware of it. With the help of my higher power, I would catch myself engaging in that crap talk, and then I would tell myself, oh yeah, that's the parasite. Or if I'm in a good place, I would smile and just wave and say, hello, parasite. Then as soon as I'm aware of it, then I ask my higher power to please show me the truth about the lies that this parasite is trying to feed me. Replace these lies with the truth. Some people call these positive affirmations. Acknowledge your positive qualities. your worth and your value. Remind yourself of your strengths, your God-given superpowers in this life. Other things that can help with self-acceptance include, and they're all program stuff, like having a gratitude practice, setting boundaries, journaling, connecting with supportive people that can call your BS out on when you're crapping all over yourself or listening to what the parasite is telling you. Supportive people mean a lot in our recovery. The steps are a beautiful journey to self-acceptance. We accept our powerlessness over food in step 1. We accept how little control we really have in this world in steps 2 and 3. We accept our mistakes and make restitution for them in steps 4 through 9. We continue to grow and learn through our mistakes in step 10. We develop a loving and accepting relationship with our higher powers in step 11. My higher power is always teaching me how to better love and accept myself. And we help others to love and accept themselves in step 12. Okay, this is the time when we say, okay, Linda, that's great, but what does this have to do with abstinence? For me, self-acceptance has everything to do with abstinence. Overeating and binging were my ways of coping with my own self-rejection and the voice and torture of the parasite in my mind. I believed everything that parasite SOB told me. Sometimes I couldn't eat enough to get away from it. So I would have to wait for an hour and then try eating more so I could get away from that stuff. Day in and day out, I ran from my self-rejection and self-hate right into the arms of the food. It was a major instigator of my eating behavior. And let's face it, eating only made me feel worse in the long run, but in the short run, it made me feel better. We must, capital, bold, underline, we must cultivate self-acceptance in order to stay abstinent in the long term. We cannot hate ourselves into abstinence. We can't shame ourselves into abstinence. We can't beat ourselves up into abstinence. That's not how this works. And so I really believe self-acceptance and self-love are paramount in recovering from our disease. That's the question for today. Okay, this picture is from Celia G. sent this to me. Thank you, Celia. What are some of the things you have trouble accepting about yourself? How does this non-acceptance affect your abstinence? Okay, I'll see you on the other side of 5 minutes.
Thanks for recovering with us.